there, my fellow crafting people. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're a crafting person. If not, either way. I am Sierra, and this is Crafting Unedited. Today, I'm going to go over all of the Cricut tools that I use and some that I don't have, but probably should get at some point. I find that a lot of people, especially newbies into the crafting and Cricut world, or even just vinyl in general, have no idea what each of the tools are used, so they're out there Googling and asking around, and while that's fine and dandy, it's probably just easier to watch a quick video on what each tool does. Well, the ones that I use anyway. So why don't we get started? We'll start off with mats. I have a Cricut Explore Air 2 and a Cricut Maker. They both use the exact same mats with the exception of the fabric mat. But what Cricut has done is they give you a few different levels of mats. So you have, I grabbed the wrong one. I should have put these in order. But so you have your blue mat, which is a light grip mat, and it says right up here in the corner, light grip. And what the blue mat is for is things like cardstock and scrapbook paper, washi tape, things that have a thinner material. And the reason why you want to use this for the material is because it doesn't have as much stick as the standard grip and the strong grip. That way it's not going to rip apart your materials. Trust me, you want the light grip mat if you're doing cards and whatnot. Definitely a useful mat. Alright, and then next we have the green mat. And the green mat is your standard mat. This is your, I guess, standard stickiness is how you would say that. And this is your most used mat. This is for everything from iron-on to non-iron-on, permanent, vinyl. I don't know, I use it for pretty much everything except for paper and fabric. And that's because there's a separate mat for that. Alright. Stay put. Purple. Purple is supposed to be your strong grip mat. I have overused mine, so it's no longer my strong grip mat. But it's all of these say right here in the top corner what they are. Strong grip is for things. I used it for a lot of the glitter HTV and any of the rolls of the glitter HTV, and that's because they're so thick that when you put them on the mat, they kind of roll back up. There's another way to avoid that, and that's pre-cutting sheets, but I don't like to do that because I don't like to waste material. So strong grip mat wins. You can also use this for wood, like the veneer wood or natural wood, and that's because you already have to tape the edges. This just gives you a little more security. Alright. So finally, you have the fabric grip mat, and it's the pink one. And I actually kept my clear coat for this, my clear sheet. I'm not entirely sure why, but I typically do for all to keep the dust off. But I thought this was important. In reality, it's not, it just says fabric grip mat, but it also says that in the corner. So fabric grip mat is obviously for things such as leather, faux leather, strong bonded fabric, cotton, pretty much any type of fabric really you use on this mat. It has, I would say, about the same amount of stick as the strong grip, and it's just more of a fabric adhesive, so it's not going to ruin your fabric. I'm not really sure on the entire difference on that. Is it a different adhesive? Who knows? I should have looked that up too. Anyways, moving on. So next, I have some cheat sheets here. Don't mind those. But I have, and if you can get a hold of one of these, do it. If not, let me know, and I can, we can talk. My husband made it. So this is a 3D printed Cricut tool storage holder. So it's got room for little miscellaneous things over here. Your Cricut blades. My sad collection of blades. I only have 2. Plus the one that's in the machine. I have the rotary blade and the knife blade. But it holds your pens and it holds all your other tools, which we're going to go over right now. So a couple of the pens that I really like, that I did purchase when I got my Air Explorer, are the Fine Point Black Marker, and this is pretty much used for 90% of the cards that I make. It's great. It's also great for writing in your happy planners and whatnot. And then I loved this metallic set of markers, and I have a washable fabric pen. You don't have to use Cricut pens. Ignore what they tell you. They do fit perfectly in the Cricut, in the pen holder for Cricut, but you absolutely do not have to use their pens or their markers. Sharpies fit really well, and actually these I got from Five Below, and they work phenomenal in the Cricut. So if you really want to expand it, but you don't want to pay a buttload of money, try to find a different marker. Sharpies fit too. You can also find, probably shouldn't tell you this because it might void your warranty, but they have inserts that you can put into the Cricut pen holder that will help hold your different pen in place better. All right, moving on from pens, because apparently I can't talk about them. So we have the scoring tool, and what that is it's a little kind of a pen looking thing, but it's just a steel point. And what it does is when you put it in the machine, it just pushes down for a seam in paper. It is great for cards, or if you're making like 3D cards especially, it is a must-have. This just creates that fine indent so that when you go to fold your card, it's a perfectly straight line and you don't have to worry about bending it and molding it on your own. This tool is a necessary tool. It is the scoring tool. You can either get this, or they do have the scoring blade. This came with a kit that I bought, so this wins. Definitely needed though. It is a highly, highly, highly recommend. All right, next we have a spatula. No, we're not frying eggs, but we are pulling cards or paper, cardstock, paper, anything that you would use on that light grip mat or even on your standard grip. You can use this to kind of go underneath the material and scrape it up so that you're not if you use your fingers, you're going to roll the material. So if you're making a flat card, you're going to end up with a rolled card and you're going to have to flatten it out. Doesn't sound like a fun situation. This avoids that. So basically what I do is I just go around the edges of the card or cardstock, whatever you're making using this. I did use it for these natural wood flowers that I did. I just took it off the mat and kind of went underneath each corner and then wedged it between the rest of the flower. All right, so we did that. That is your spatula. Looks just like this. All right, next we have some scissors. The Cricut scissors are awesome. I just wish they were bigger. They are very sharp. Very, very sharp. They are great for cutting your vinyl or any other material. Really, they are fabulous. I just wish they were longer because cutting a long sheet of vinyl with these little bitty things is not fun work. Scissors can be used for pretty much anything and everything, whatever you want. Put your mind to it. But my main use for these is for cutting the vinyl off of the rolls or the little sheets. Or when I am done with the cutting process, I like to cut around my image. It just makes it easier for weeding, in my opinion, and I love to save my scraps. I don't like to waste material. Again. Alright, we're going to skip over this one, but these are just some, I don't really know what they're called, honestly. They are like razor blade scissors. I use them to trim for my leather earrings that I make. I trim the edges to get a nice smooth edging and round or lines. So that's what I use this for. I'm not entirely sure what the full purpose is. I haven't gotten into the sewing aspect on the Cricut Maker yet. I know that's really what it's for, but haven't gotten there yet. I've gotten to cutting leather and cutting wood. I'll get there, I promise. Tweezers. So I have 2 pairs of tweezers, Cricut and not Cricut. Cricut tweezers are awesome. They have like this really interesting design. So they're a pinch together and it pulls apart kind of thing. So they're kind of backwards. Let's see, does it look better that way? There you go. So when you pinch them together, they go apart. When you pinch them apart, they go together. It's opposites. But these are amazing for getting those little pieces off of your mat. I have gotten to the point where I get really frustrated when I'm weeding something and the little pieces that I have weeded, like the negatives, get all over the not negative, and I have found myself ironing those pieces onto a shirt. Such a headache, but thankfully I know how to get them off, and these little bad boys have helped significantly with that. Also, lint roller. Lint roller is a very much needed tool. It is not Cricut, but I'll just share that with you because getting all of those little tiny pieces that you have weeded off of your mat is probably one of the biggest headaches that we get. That and weeding itself. But you just take your lint roller and roll it across. And voila, all done. No more headaches or finding little pieces of vinyl all over the place. Alright, next we'll go for the weeding tools. I have a couple here. Whoops. So these 2 came together. The 2 pink tips there came together. One kind of has a hook like this, and the other has a hook that goes sideways. Both are used for pretty much the same things, just different directions, honestly. So what the weeding tool does is you, on your negative vinyl, so the vinyl that you don't want on your backing or in your end picture, design, decal, whatever you want to call it, you are going to poke it and pull. So what I do is I poke, I drag just a little, and then I pull up. This one, the one that hooks to the side, is great if you've got like a weird or intricate design and you've got to go like in a curve. That's what this is great for. I'm not entirely sure what the full purpose is, but it does work just as well as this one. So you can hook like this or you can hook like this. Either way, it works fabulously. Next, we have, it's just the straight point. This one is really good for those little bit teeny tiny dots. You just poke it and it comes right up. For those little teeny tiny dots, you do not want to use the hooks. If you use the hooks, you are more than likely going to grab outside of that little teeny dot and you're going to grab that part of the image that you want to keep. That can cause a mess. Make sure that you have just the straight hook. You don't have to use the Cricut stuff. Once again, there are other brands. A lot of people use like dental picks. I've never really tried that, but I could definitely see how they work. As I was at the dentist yesterday and they were poking into my teeth and whatnot, I was like, man, I could use those tools. But this is just an example. I got this free with some of my vinyl that I purchased, and it works pretty good. I just don't like how much of a hook it has. As you can see, it's quite a bit defined. It's way more hooked than the Cricut tool is. So that's that for Cricut weeding tools. So the blades that I have, let's put these away here. So I have my fine point blade. I have the fine point blade comes with your machine. It is the most commonly used for pretty much anything and everything except for thicker fabrics or materials like wood and fabric and stuff like that. The two that I have become very obsessed with is the rotary blade. It is basically a tiny rotary tool or rotary wheel, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty awesome, especially for cutting leather and fabric in general. I have found that the blades that I was using just kind of roll up the fabric, or especially the leather. This was genius of them. I love this little tool, and it came with the maker that I bought, so that's another win. Alright, so the rotary blade is used for cutting things like leather or faux leather. I use it for cutting felt. I use it for cutting canvas. Pretty much any of those thicker or more bonded fabrics I use the rotary blade for. The knife blade, I am still adventuring on all of its uses, but so far I used it for cutting that natural wood, and it was awesome. It said that it needed 28 passes and it did it in 6, so wasn't entirely sure why it needed 28, but we'll let Cricut do its thing. I also had it set on a different cut of wood because it says for the natural wood you need the deep point blade, and I don't have that, so knife blade wins. This is basically just a teeny tiny itty bitty X-Acto blade. I don't know if you can see that, but it is literally a baby X-Acto blade. It is very, very sharp, so don't let it fool you. Alright, so oh, my light just cut off. Great. Oh well, that's okay. So we'll cover what the basic tools are for. We'll just kind of recap a little bit. So tweezers are to lift and secure delicate material. The weeders remove tiny negative cuts. Scissors with the protective blade cover, that's just your scissors and then the cover that goes over them. You can use any type of scissors. I just really like those little Cricut ones for the littler pieces. You're obviously going to want bigger ones for bigger cuts. I do have the fabric scissors for cutting large pieces of fabric. The spatula lifts cuts from the mat. Oh, a scraper. I missed that. That's because I don't know where mine is. The scraper is great for scraping excess materials off of your mat, as well as debris and everything gets on those mats. I mean, I have worn a hoodie not thinking, or long sleeves, and put my arm on the mat as I'm weeding, and all of that fabric or cotton or lint just stuck to the mat. The scraper tool is just a tool. I wonder if I can find mine. There it is. So this is what the scraper tool looks like. It comes in 2 sizes. And basically you just take it across the mat like so, and you just scrape away. Exactly how it sounds, right? Right. So it's great for getting debris off of your mat. It is a necessity. I also use it for getting air bubbles out of like cups and wood, like my Craftily sign behind my laptop here. That beautiful thing. I had to use it to scrape down and get all the air bubbles out of that. Just multiple uses for it, right? Alright, moving on. Scoring stylus to add fold lines to cards and envelopes. Again, that is a must-have if you're making cards. Trimmer materials up to 12-inch wide. Scissors, I'm assuming. I'm not entirely sure what that is. But, a scoring blade, which is the same thing as the scoring stylus, which is what I have. We went over that. So your standard grip cutting mat, the green one, is great for cardstock, patterned paper, embossed cardstock, iron-on, vinyl. This is just products that I found off the internet that people recommend using for these mats. Light grip mat, which is the blue mat. They say printer paper, thin cardstock, vellum, and construction paper. Excuse me. Losing my voice a little bit there. Alright, so the strong grip cutting mat, the purple, is used for thick cardstock and glitter cardstock and glitter HTV or iron-on. Trust me, it's a lifesaver. Magnet material, chipboard, poster board, or fabric with a stabilizer. Or you can just use your fabric grip mat for the fabric. Common sense there. So, that covers your basic tools that you need for your Cricut, either Explore Air or your Maker. Either way, there are probably hundreds of tools out there that you can use, and they're not all Cricut. But I will tell you that if you use anything outside of a Cricut product in your Cricut Maker or on your mats, it 100% voids the warranty and they will not replace it. So I highly recommend, when it comes to the machine and the mats, don't use anything outside of Cricut's products. Do not try to restick your mat. If you need to clean your mat, just use some Dawn dish soap and a light scrub. That's all it needs. Don't try to restick your mat. It will void it and they won't cover a brand new one. The other thing is, for your Cricut mats, they are only good for about 20 to 40 cuts, if that. What I plan on doing, I have probably 6 mats right now that are not sticky anymore. I just buy new ones. They're like 15 bucks for a 3-pack. It's not worth stressing out over. I've tried scraping them clean. I've tried resticking them. Doesn't work. Just buy the new ones. I get it, not everyone can afford that, but it's 15 bucks probably every month or so. If you're in a business, it's worth it. Oh, the other mat. See, while I'm talking about it, I looked back. There is a big, long, typical mats come 12 by 12. While we're on mats, typical mats come 12 by 12. There is a long mat. It's 12 by 24. It is available for standard grip and fabric grip, I believe. I don't think that there's a strong grip or a light grip available in the longer mats. But you can absolutely get the standard grip and the fabric grip longer mats. Back to where I was going. What I plan on doing with my extra mats is I'm going to put it actually on my desktop here, or tabletop, desktop, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to create a cutting surface so that I'm not cutting into the laminate here. Not that I really care, but it'd be awesome to have like something to measure while I'm cutting or while my other mats are being used, you know, just kind of multi-uses and repurposing things so that they're not going to waste. So if you have extra Cricut mats laying around, create a worktop for you. Just a fun little tip for you. All right, so that covers all of your basic tools for Cricut Air Explorer and the Cricut Maker and pretty much any other Cricut cutting tool. Cutting machine, not tool. There are a bunch more, but those are what your basic needs are. That's what you need to get started and to become a successful crafter, as well as some great imagination. So until next time, if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe down there in the corner. That way you can see more videos. Also, if you want to know when I am on, just hit the bell down there and your YouTube account will actually alert you if you have it set to that. That way you know when I have sent something in or I have put up a new video. Alright peeps, until next time, this is Crafting Unedited. See ya!